Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Magic. Today we're not coming with multiple camera angles, not with dramatic cuts, not with excessive spotlight, just one simple video from the airport, and precisely because of its simplicity, everything feels far more honest. The 7 BTS members are seen walking home to Korea. Their steps are calm, almost ordinary. On the surface, nothing seems special. But for anyone who truly pays attention, there is a story moving between those steps. A story unspoken, not announced, yet deeply felt. A shift in formation. Distances too close to be called coincidence. Body language that appears unconsciously. And in the middle of the airport crowd, an old dynamic quietly reemerges. Silent, consistent, and impossible to ignore. So before we go any further, take a moment to breathe. Notice the small details, because often, the strongest stories are hidden in the quietest moments. In this latest moment, all 7 BTS members are seen together at the airport, on their way back to Korea. At the time this video surfaced, there was only one recording that truly captured them in one continuous sequence. Not many camera angles, not excessive visual cuts, and precisely because of that, every second feels even more valuable. Perhaps more videos from different angles will appear later. But even from this single, simple recording alone, there are already so many details worth noticing. Small details that are often overlooked, yet carry the most honest stories. From the very beginning, a change in formation is noticeable. If in previous moments their arrangement looked different, this time the members' positions shift. Jimin is at the very back, while several other members, including Jungkook, walk ahead in front. At first glance, this change may seem trivial, but for those accustomed to observing BTS's dynamics, shifts in formation are rarely meaningless. There is always a question that arises. Coincidence? Or a pattern repeating itself once again? Jimin walks casually at the back. From time to time, he turns toward the fans, offering a gentle, small wave. He is known for consistently greeting fans, especially when not all cameras are focused on him. And in this moment, his charm is once again unmistakable. Jimin looks incredibly handsome, not in a loud or showy way, but in a calm, subtle way. Soft features, a peaceful expression, a warm gaze without any effort. Then his smile appears, not forced, not dramatic, just sincere. A smile that makes anyone who sees it feel at ease. This is Jimin's appeal. Not merely visual, but an aura. Something difficult to explain, yet easy to feel. As they enter the security check area, Jungkook walks ahead, followed by J-Hope, Suga, and the other members. Once again, Jimin remains at the very back. Yet their pace stays relaxed, unhurried, untense. It feels more like going home than simply moving from one place to another. Of course, all of this is also influenced by security protocols and staff direction. The members cannot always walk side by side. But it is precisely within these limitations that small details become even more meaningful. If you look closely, Jimin and Jungkook are walking extremely close to each other. No distance, no space for anyone else between them, no awkward gestures. Everything feels natural, close, calm, and synchronized. For a few moments, Jungkook's position shifts slightly. At first, he is right behind Jimin, then he moves away briefly, before closing the distance again and walking side by side. Shoulder to shoulder, arm to arm, then Jungkook takes half a step ahead. This pattern is not unfamiliar. It appears repeatedly in many situations. Not to leave, but to guard. As if, without words, Jungkook is saying, "I'm in front. I'm watching the surroundings, you're safe behind me." From one airport to another, this pattern continues to repeat. Jungkook's protective role emerges consistently, naturally, without being staged. And when the same pattern appears again and again, across different times and situations, it becomes increasingly difficult to call it a coincidence. Because small details like these are the most honest. Without dramatization, without multiple camera angles, this one simple video once again reminds us that the strongest stories are often hidden in the smallest things. Not in what they say, but in how they walk, how they stand, and how they position themselves around each other. Body language never lies. This return is not just an ordinary journey. It is a warm moment filled with meaning. The 7 BTS members walk calmly through the airport, their faces adorned with faint smiles. Not smiles for the camera, not forced smiles. Smiles that seem to say, without words, "We're okay, and we're home." No grand stage, no spotlight, no demand to appear perfect. Just an airport, just steps taken home after a long journey. And it is precisely in transitional spaces like this that emotions emerge most honestly. Airports are where exhaustion meets longing, where vigilance blends with relief. Their small details speak louder than words. For anyone who has followed Jikook for a long time, one thing has always been clear. They exist in their own world. Not a world hungry for attention. Not a world seeking validation. Their world is built from small gestures, brief glances, and repeated habits. Not dramatic but real. Not loud but steady. Amid the crowd, they seem to move to a different rhythm. Jungkook instinctively adjusts his pace to match Jimin's. And Jimin, with his small smile, seems to know that nearby, exactly one step behind him, there is the safest place. There is no effort to look special. No moment that feels manufactured. And that is precisely where the specialness lies. When Jimin greets fans again with a small heart gesture, the camera captures a very subtle detail. Jungkook smiles behind his mask. Not a smile for the camera. Not a public expression. But a spontaneous response. A smile that appears right after Jimin does it. Directed at one person, not the crowd. Jungkook's body language speaks volumes as well. His shoulders are relaxed, his body naturally leaning in to follow Jimin's rhythm. No intentional distance, no defensive gestures. Everything is synchronized, as if formed without conscious thought. This is not about one grand romantic moment. This is about habit. Closeness like this does not form in a single day. It grows over a long time through trust, safety, and the comfort of sharing personal space, even in public places filled with pressure. And perhaps that is why this simple video feels so memorable. Because what we are seeing is not a performance, not fan service, but a small fragment of a relationship unfolding naturally. Jimin remains Jimin, warm, gentle, always giving. Jungkook remains Jungkook, quiet, alert, and protective, from a very close distance. Not for the camera, not for the public, simply because that is their rhythm. Thank you for watching until the end. If you felt the same warmth, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Because at Jikook Magic, we believe the smallest things often hold the biggest stories.